Hello, welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts and my Technique Tuesday. Hope you're all having a lovely Easter break if you are still on holiday. If not, hope it's not too bad at work. I'm going to be showing you today how I'm going to create a background using a block, some ink and a spritzer. You don't have to have this particular one. You can use any sort of spray. It's not going to be as good if you haven't got a spray to use. Anything you can use this is and that gives a nice fine spray. I have got this bottle which I use to spray things as well. Usually my when I need to spray to clean something, I use this one, but there's different, you can buy lots of different, that's like a stream and that's a spray, so you can, if you want to get something, that's a really cheap spray bottle, but you can get one quite reasonably in lots of different thrifty places, thrifty shops, but so if you haven't got one of these, you can use other things, but you do need to spray it rather than drip it on or whatever, because you want it to be sort of an even spread of water. So I've already filled this one up, it's absolutely jam-packed full. So I'm using some fluid 500 paper, fluid 100 watercolor paper, but any watercolor paper will do, only because it's going to get wet and I want it to dry again quite quickly, hopefully. I will use them, and I don't want the paper to warp too much, which hopefully this will not do too badly, hopefully. So this is what I'm going to be using. I've got a block here and it sort of fits with a little bit of extra room on the side, so I don't want to go right to the sides either anyway when I'm going to be putting this onto the paper, so I want to leave a bit of a border around the outside as well. Once I've done all of this, I'm going to decide which colour I'm going to put behind it onto my card. I've cut this piece of paper to 4.5 by 6.5, so it's 4.5 by 6.5, and I'm going to be using a 5 by 7 card base and envelope. So that's what I'll be using to do this card with. I'm going to use the painted lavender stamp set. I'm going to use this image, this one, and the flowers. I might use the butterflies, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided on that one yet. I'm using the thanks from the Biggest Wish stamp set, which I have got here somewhere. There we go, the Biggest Wish stamp set, and this one is retiring, unfortunately, and I really like this set because you can mix and match the fonts. So you can either have it nice and bold or you can have it scripted as well. But this one is retiring, so if you want to get that one, you need to get in quite quickly. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using. I'm not going to put a sentiment on the inside of my card for now, but I might put an image or something like that on the inside as well and on the envelope. But we'll get there in a bit. So let's make a start. So how am I going to do this? I've got 3 different coloured inks here. I'm going to use Tahitian Tide for the top, I'm using Granny Apple Green in the middle, and I'm using Parakeet Party at the bottom. And I'm hoping that those two will sort of merge together as well. I don't really want the top one to merge with this one, but we'll see how that goes. Yes, so I'm going to start off with the Tahitian Tide. The Tahitian Tide and the Parakeet Party are 2 of the ink colours that will be leaving us shortly. So once we get to May, these stamp sets these ink colours are going to be disappearing from use. We won't be able to get these anymore. So if you do like these, the other ones are Orchid Oasis, Sweet Sorbet, and Starry Sky. those are the other three that are going as well. I will be using the Sweet Sorbet and the Orchid Oasis, I think, as well. So we will have a chance to see them before they go as well. I'm not going to be using the Starry Sky though, not today anyway. Okay, right, let's get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ink my actual block, which sounds a bit strange, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ink my block up like that. Whoops, that's got a line on it. I don't want a line on it. Not that it probably would stay anyway. It should go after in a moment. So then once I've inked my block up, I'm going to use my spritzer. Just move that out of the way a second. I don't want to get water everywhere. But I do want to show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to spritz this lightly to wet it. So then it sort of, once it's wet, I don't think I want it too wet, but I just want all the ink to move about a little bit. There we go, that should be fine. And then I'm just going to turn it over and I'm going to put it down, leaving a little border all the way around it onto my paper. I'm pressing right across to make sure that it all gets onto the paper, and then take it off. Now it doesn't, ooh, I've got a little splat there. I should have got some, there we go, I've got some tissue. And I'm just going to try and get that off there. It doesn't matter too much if it goes too far. And then you can just, if I've got a little bit of excess water on there, and I perhaps need, and I might just use my heat gun. Let's see if I can find it, because it fell off my stand just now. Right, and I'm just going to dry this off gently on it with a gentle heat. I want to make sure this particular layer is dry. The other two I don't necessarily want to be dry, but this one I don't want to go together. So just dry this off. Also do it from the back. There we go, that's mostly dry now, I think. There we go. If you want to, if you've got too much ink on there, if you don't want it to be as dark as it is, you can you could use this and just dab it on and take some of it off as well. So it's up to you how you actually deal with it. If you wanted to as well, if that's going to be a sort of a sky, then you could dab some of the ink off to make it look, there's a little bit looks like there's a few clouds in the sky at the top, right at the top there, but that's the sort of impression you could get from that. I better clean this off. Great. Oh my, there, and I'm getting it everywhere. So let me just clean my stamp off. Once I find my, there we go. There. And just wipe that off my block there. I don't want to get my tissue in case I need it again. Right, so I'm going to, because usually it's the background, the further away the horizon is usually darker than the foreground, I'm going to use the darker colour first. So I'm going to ink this up again with my Granny Apple Green. So that's nicely covered. And again, I'm going to spritz. I'm going to do this off so that I don't get water everywhere. Here we go. Right, so that's nice and wet again. And I'm going to turn it over and try not to get it too close to the blue, but I want it to cover the whole thing again. And lift this off, and that's fine. I'm going to just clean off my block again so I don't get it everywhere again. That's most of it. A little bit on the back. There we go. Hopefully that's all of that done. Oh, I've got a little bit more down here again. There we go. Never mind. It's not too much of a problem if it does merge a little bit. I don't want this to dry off too quickly, so I'm going to do this one nice and quickly. So that's the granny apple green, and then I'm going to ink up my parakeet party. There we go. And I'm going to spritz this one again. And there we go. So that's nice and wet again. And turn it over. And this time I'm going to be doing this over the top of my granny apple green. And I sort of come over a bit to the side as well, but that's fine. I might need to do this one again, or I could possibly, yeah, I'm going to do this one again, I think, because it went over a little bit. I'm going to do this, spritz that again, and I'm coming over slightly to this side. There we go. Not too worried about it. I do want to try and get it covered as much as possible. And come away like that. That's fine. So that's my parakeet. That's all my colours laid down at the background. When they dry, they will dry a little bit lighter as well, so not to worry. I might just use my tissue to just take some of this darkness away, and also these that are a little bit further away. There we go. Don't know if you can hear, but somebody's out there cutting their grass. Thank you very much. Right, here we go. Let me just clean off my block quickly before I get the ink everywhere. Right, I think that's got most of that off there. Right, so that's my background. I'm just going to try and dry that off again a little bit, just enough so that I'll be able to stamp over the top of it again. What I might do, because it hasn't quite turned out the way I wanted to. This side is quite nice, but this side isn't quite so good. So I might just trim it all down anyway, so we'll see. Just put dry this off a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me above the noise. I'm sorry about the noise. I just want to dry this off so that we can stamp over the top of it. What I could have done is perhaps try to do this beforehand, but I didn't. I could have done a sample so that you would have been able to see what it was like, so I didn't have to wait for me to dry the ink off. There we go. That feels pretty dry now. There we go. Right, so if it's not the... oh, it stopped for 5 minutes. Right, so that's my background. So that's how... I mean, you don't have to get it as wet as that if you don't want to. I was hoping that they would stay a little bit wetter so that they would merge together a bit better, but because it looks as though you've got a strip, but that could be a hedge, it could be anything. So I'm going to use, for the next part of it, I'm going to use some Old Olive, Flirty Flamingo, Sweet Sorbet and Orchid Oasis. So this, I wanted to use something that was going to be a bit darker again. So this is going to be, I'm going to use these for the leaves or the stalks of this. That's what I'm going to use for those, and then I'm going to use these for the flowers. So you'll have a bit of a sort of meadow effect, hopefully. I was going to use another set and perhaps do some just silhouettes, but I couldn't find the stamp set I was looking for. I know I've got it, but I don't know what I've done with it, so I'm using this one instead. So we've painted lavender, and this one is carrying over. This one isn't disappearing. So we've got, and I've got this stamp here, this image here, which is a bit like stalks and bits here. So I'm going to just do this, and I will be sort of doing more than one layer. So I'll be doing that and then going over it behind it and going overlaying it and doing second generation and first, and again, and then I'm going to do it again. I want plenty of, I want it to look as though I've got lots of grass and effects down here. I think my Old Olive needs to be re-inked. There we go. Looks quite thick and lots of, there we go, images. Hopefully they don't look as though they stamped too much over the top. That's okay. Come over here. There we go. So that's my green part of it, hopefully. And then I'm going to use my colours. So I'll use the Orchid Oasis first, I think. And I was hoping these would look a bit like cornflowers, maybe because this blue would be sort of a cornflowerish sort of, but I don't know that that will actually come out with this. We'll see how it works. This is not going to look like cornflowers, I don't think. It's not that sort of flower. So I'm just going to do this sort of randomly across. And because we've got colour underneath, it's not going to come out true to its colour anyway. So that's that one. I'm going to use my Sweet Sorbet. I will take that off a moment. Just clean this because I will probably use it with the Flirty Flamingo as well. Hopefully that will show up on there. Right, so that one's clean, hopefully. Yeah, that looks okay. And then Sweet Sorbet. These are quite bright, so we'll have, these could be poppies. This could be quite a simile card. I don't think it would be any point putting yellows and things in because you just wouldn't, it would get lost because of the green. But that's some nice red there. And then I'm going to use this again, I think, with the Flirty Flamingo. We'll see if this works. Hopefully it will. There we go, I think that looks quite good. I might do a bit more of the Orchid Oasis. I don't want too much in here, but let's just get this open and just clean this off a little bit. I could have tried Highland Heather. Actually, I'll try, oops, that's coming off because it's wet. That's okay. I'm going to try using some Highland Heather instead of the Orchid Oasis. Put this one away for a minute. We'll see if this makes a difference. I don't know if it will. That's not, nope, it's not stuck. My stamp is a little bit wet. Oh, my block is a little bit wet. There we go. Oh, it doesn't want to stay down. It's sticking to me rather than the block. That's better. So I'll put some Highland Heather on there. Don't think it looks much difference colour-wise, but we'll see. There we are. I think that's fine. Don't want to put too much. Actually, a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, so there's plenty of colour in there now. I need to clean that off. Clean that off. And that one. Maybe we should do the thanks. What should we? Got some. What would look nice behind there? I think I'm going to use that. So I'll use the sweet sorbet to do my thanks on, and you're not going to see. That's the wrong. It's not a card. This is, oh, that's a bit big. Add a piece, that'll do. I'll use this to do my thanks. Yes. So I'll close that up and put the other two away. Sweet sorbet. And put that on here and there. And I think, just check to see if that will fit. That's quite close. I can do it again. So if it is too much, there we go. I wanted something that'll do there. And oops, let's have a look what else we've got. Might use some ribbon. I don't think I've got anything with sweet sorbet in it, but what have I got? Got something. Is this the green? That's a garden green. Don't know. Hopefully this will look alright. Let's see. Let's get this out a minute. Here and oops, let's see what that would look like. That goes over there, or the real red won't. I don't want the real red because that's a different red to the one I've used. So I've got, I wonder what this one is. I think this is, oops, yes, sweet sorbet. That one will work, I think. I can use that one. So, oops, that's come off there. Go back. And if it's not been used before, so let's get it used before it disappears completely from everywhere. There we go, that's the ribbon. And I can put that across and that can go over the top. Yep, I think that'll look nice. Right, so I'm going to, I need some of that, so we'll take that much, should be fine. I can always tie a bit on afterwards if I want to. Right, so I need to cut this down a little bit because I don't like it like that. It's too messy around the edges. What I could have done, and what you could do, is to mask off the edges all the way around so that you don't get anything around the edges if you don't want to. So I need to take this down. So this is going to make it quite a bit smaller. I'm going to go as close to the edge as I can. Not too worried if there's a little bit of white showing, that might be okay. And there. All be on, and a little bit at the bottom. There we go, that's fine. So I mended it with about 4 1/8 by about 6 1/4. So I need this to be I'll try 4 3/8 by 6 1/2. We'll see what this looks like. Just check first. I mean, that's what it was to start with anyway, so that can, how much around the edges, that's fine. Now because I'm going to need to try and just, I won't be able to cut it with that, so I might just leave it as it is because it's sort of feathering. I could try just, I don't know if you can see, but it's it's because of the type of card it is as well, because it's watercolour card and it's a different texture. It's also sometimes leaves more of a feathering around the edges when you cut it. And also it could be that I need to put a new blade on my trimmer. In fact, it probably does mean that. There we go. That's most of that cleared off, and a little bit along the bottom as well. Just tidy that up a bit. Right, I don't need those pieces. Right, so I'm going to stick this onto here. That will then, is my card base. I'll give quite a bit of a gap around the outside, but I think that will look okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so I've got my card base. Let's stick this onto here. There we go. So I should have about 1/4 of an inch on each side, so there's about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then I'm going to put this across here like that. So I'm going to put some tear and tape on the back. I think, if I can find it. Yeah, some tear and tape. This will do. There. And some there. Need to take the backing off. There we go. So for now, just put that across across there like that, and then I want this to be straight across. So that now is stuck to the back, and I can just trim these pieces off. I don't need them to be that long. Didn't want to go. Right, and then we're going to attach this. I got that right way around. That's better. Attach this to my card, which again I could use tear and tape, but I'm going to carry on with my Tombow for now, if I can get enough out of it. When the new catalogue comes out, there will be some price increases with some of the items. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but some of the adhesives will be slightly more expensive. Some of the card stock will be slightly more expensive as well. But I'm not quite sure I can't remember what the price differences are, but it's not going to make that much difference. But if you did want anything in particular, and you wanted to get stock up first, obviously it would be a good idea to get in before the beginning of May if you want anything. So if you want to stock up on anything that the prices might be going up on, then it would probably be better to do it sooner rather than later, and definitely during April, just to make sure that you make the most of your money. Right, again, like I said, that some of the in colours, well, not some, all of the in colours from 22 to 24 will be leaving us at the end of April. We will be getting some new colours, and they're nice and bright colours as well, which you'll be able to see shortly. I'm going to have to put another one behind this. I can't, it's Pretty in Pink, Petunia Pop, I think it's called, Shy Shamrock, and the other one was Summer Splash, and something Peach Party, or Peach, no, it can't be Peach Party, it's got to be something peach as well. I can't remember what the peach one was. There we go. So that's pretty. I think that's quite nice like it is. We could, I know what would look nice. Here we go. I've got these birds and dragonflies, and they're adhesive back dragonflies and birds, obviously. And I think these are online exclusives. I think there's two different birds. We'll have a look underneath here, see if there's more birds. I can open it. Here we go. Doesn't want to open. Here we go. Yes. So you've got birds going in different directions and slightly different birds. And we could put a couple of a dragonfly or two down the bottom. And then we could have a third one, I think. Down here, and they would be slightly bigger because they're in the foreground, and then in the background we can have some birds. We can have a couple of birds up here in the sky. There we go. I think that looks fine. That doesn't quite, there we go. I think that's okay. We could put some more embellishments on, but I think actually that looks okay as it is. Don't want to put too much on there, so I think it would take away from it. Right, there we go. Oops, I'm dragging on a little bit today. I hope you've enjoyed that, and maybe you'll try out that technique of making your backgrounds with the ink and the spritzing it. I think it's turned out quite nicely. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much, and bye for now.